Welcome to a new course of AWS. Before getting into our course, we're going to learn about the introduction to AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Well, what is AWS? So the overview of AWS or Amazon Web Service is a comprehensive and widely adopted cloud platform offering over 200 fully featured services from data centers globally. AWS is used by millions of customers, including startups, large enterprises, and leading government agencies to lower the cost, become more agile, and innovate faster. What are the key components of AWS? Computer services. There are a couple of things which we are going to know in this class or in this introduction part of the course. Make sure not to skip any because this whole course is going to be more theoretical than practical. So make sure not to skip anything. In compute services, we have EC2, which is Elastic Compute Cloud, which is a virtual services to run various applications. Then we have is Lambda, run code without provisioning or managing servers. ECS, which is Elastic Container Service, which is highly scalable container services. Then we have is EKS, which stands for Elastic Kubernetes Service, which is managed by Kubernetes Service. Then we have is storage services. S3, which is simple storage service, scalable object storage. Then we have is EBS, which is Elastic Block Store, which is a persistent block storage for EC2, which is also found in compute service on the first point. Then we have is Glacier, which is a low-cost archive storage, which is used mostly to store a lot of data. Then we have is database services. RDS, the full form of RDS is Relational Database Services, which is managed by Relational Database Services. Then we have is DynamoDB, which is NoSQL Database Services. We're going to go through them step by step. So if you're confused, make sure not to skip any part of the classes, and I'm going to give you a brief about everything. Then we have is Aurora, which is MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible relational database, which mostly works with data services online. Then we have is networking. We have VPC in networking, which is a virtual private cloud, which is used mainly by AWS, and they don't have only one. They have a lot of it so that they can use it for isolated networking resources. Then we have is CloudFront, the content delivery networking, which is CDN, which is found in CloudFront. Then we have is Route 53, which is a scalable domain name system, which is the DNS of that specific service or that server. Security and identity, which is IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management, which helps you to securely manage the access inside of that server when you are there. Then we have is KMS, which is Key Management Service, which is used to create and manage encryption keys. Obviously, you will not be able to create a key on your own without having that encrypted because that is for your own security. If it's not encrypted, you will lose your own security very fast. And obviously, by this time or in this modern age, it is also very highly that your account, which has a lot of assets, is going to be taken down. Then we have is Shield for our security and identity, which is managed DDoS protection. Then we have is Analytics. We have Athena, which is used for query data in S3 using SQL. Well, those of you who don't know what SQL is, well, this is the database type of programming, not even a programming, it is a kind of a language used by PHP to manage out the databases inside of the server or inside of your own DNS. Then we have is Redshift. Redshift is a data warehousing service which is used to actually store a lot of data inside of a specific server or inside of that specifically known data warehouse. Then we have is Kinesis, which is a real-time data streaming platform. Not even a platform, it is also a type of a service which is given by AWS. And that is why AWS has almost like 200 type of services given by their own. Then we have is machine learning. First off, we have SageMaker, which is used to build, train, and deploy ML models. Then we have is recognition, image and video analysis, which is also used by AI most of the time. Then we have is comprehend, which is a natural language processing service. Then we have is developer tools. First off, we have code commit, which is used for source control services. Then we have is code build. You can also build and test codes inside of the AWS server. Well, if you don't know or if you're still confused about it, well, you don't have to be because I'm going to open everything up step by step in this whole course. Then we have is code deploy, which is an automate code deployment service. Then we have management and also governance. Just like I said from the beginning, that AWS offers a lot of services and it also services or helps the government too. Now, management and governance are the first one we have is CloudWatch, monitoring and logging services. Well, it is used worldwide, not just in AWS, but also other services online which you get. Then we have is CloudTrail, which is also used in AWS, which is used to track user activity and API usage. Then we have is Config, which is a track resource configurations. Well, obviously, if you want to change path, change the trajectory, then obviously you have to configure some. So you also get the config service. Then we have is application integration. Obviously, if you have the services, people who are new or people who want to get directly into those services or directly want to get into those works will not be able to work unless there are a couple of applications integration. So first application integration, which is the most simple one, is called the SNS, and it also stands for Simple Notification Services. When you are working on any specific server or any specific application, obviously you're going to need an SNS. Well, this is integrated on most applications given online or most applications that are available right now in this time. It helps you to relay the messaging services. Then we have is SQS. It stands for Simple Queue Service, which is used for message queuing. Obviously, it will not be able, or a service or even a server will not be able to send like thousands and millions of messages at the same time. Obviously, it's going to get delayed just a bit, or let's say step by step or one by one, but consecutively. So the SQS comes in handy, which actually queues up the service or queues up the messages and then sends it at the right time. Then we have step functions, coordinate distributed application. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of AWS? The first benefit of AWS is the scalability. It automatically scales application up or down. Well, all the things which you've seen about AWS up till now, all of them apprehends or also amplifies and also has their own type of significance on another service. So due to that, you have that scalability option. Then we have is cost efficiency, pay as you go pricing models. Obviously, you will find out a lot of models online or a lot of models in AWS, but it's going to depend on what you want to make or what model you want to make. The higher the services are, the higher you pay. The lower the services are, the lower you pay. But it doesn't mean the lower you pay is going to be bad. It depends on what type of service you want to make out of AWS. Then we have is security, which is used for strong security capabilities and also compliance. Global reach, availability in multiple regions worldwide. Obviously, there are a couple of regions that still do not have AWS, but you will obviously be able to get the benefit of AWS from anywhere in the world. Then we have is innovation, which is a continuous introduction of new services and features. So the conclusion of AWS is that AWS provides a robust cloud platform to meet diverse computing needs, offering services for compute storage, databases, machine learning, and even more. Its extensive service portfolio, scalability, and security make it a go-to choice for organizations looking to leverage cloud technologies for innovation and also efficiency. So, this is the end of the introduction of the course of AWS. So, I'm going to tell you once again is that this course is going to be mostly theoretical based. So, most of the classes you will see in this course will have a lot of presentations which you have to learn as a lecture because there are a lot of things to learn in AWS and really a less practicals which you can apply on after learning everything about AWS and everything about every services which AWS has to offer. So, hope you understood everything about this class. And if you still have any confusion or any question about any part of this lesson, feel free to ask me anytime. I'm always there to help you out. So, hope to see you guys in my first class of AWS.